So I've talked a lot about journaling in the past and how I absolutely loved it and how it's changing my life in the way that I kind of just write my thoughts and kind of just get to learn a lot more about myself. Today I want to go over my top 3 ways of journaling, and I want to show you my top 3 journals that I use on a daily basis. So let's get right into it. So I want to start in chronological order with my morning pages. Now, I am not very consistent with morning pages. I do try to be mindful and to kind of just write my thoughts whenever I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed in the mornings, when I have a lot of thoughts or a lot of to-do things. I tend to kind of just come back here and just write my thoughts down so that I can go through the day with a clear mind, clear mindset, my goals somewhat aligned and in order, and it feels like I have a lot less weight on my shoulders as I go about my day. So this is my system for sort of like morning pages. It kind of keeps everything in one place. It's easy to navigate, easy to grab. I know exactly what this is going to be and what's going to be inside for most of the time. Now, I have my morning pages in this Bellroy Folio um, pouch thing. I've had this for a long time, and I was initially going to use this for an iPad mini that I have that now Melissa, my wife, has, and she actually doesn't use at all. But I had this to kind of just take on the go for having my questions here for whoever I was interviewing for the day, but that didn't really get utilized very much. I didn't think that that was a really good system for that, so I transitioned to something else like the Supernote. So I house everything here. So let's kind of just go into this. Before I open it, like this is kind of like a ripstop sort of material. I really enjoy it. There is a zipper in the back that I use to kind of just house some stickers. There's just Snoopy stickers that I just have here that I really like. Actually, we'll put those back, or I'm gonna forget. So I have a couple stickers here that I use on a daily basis, um, for whatever it is that I'm journaling from a variety of different systems that I have. So the journal that I have in here that lives here and is utilized for my morning pages, is this Midori um, MD paper. I used this for something else at the very beginning. I was using it for like creative ideas. And then I got other journals and I got better systems for those journals. So I transitioned this to just be my morning pages. And it's been really cool. Kind of just seeing the transition of writing. As you can see, I have this sort of regular handwriting kind of going on. And then you can see when I transition over to cursive, I think. Oh, it was in another journal that I had, but I'm kind of just trying to be mindful and kind of just keeping my handwriting cursive. I do some doodling in the morning, kind of just looking out the window. What do I see? I kind of just try to challenge myself to draw something. So that's like a corner of our house. That is our living room. Or I kind of just stamp it. I try some different inks. I just love ND paper. I specifically love this notebook and I want a really good system to be able to use it. And it fits perfectly in this folio. I kind of just have it inserted here in this little flap. This folio did come with a notebook of its own, but I kind of just substituted. I'm not sure where that's at. But before I kind of go into the rest of the thing, let's kind of just start here, kind of work our way. So I have 2 pouches, 2 dividers right here. And what I use these for, in the past, it was just cables and stickers and things like that. But I found a really good way to kind of just keep and house some of my pens and my markers and my highlighters. So I have these 3 Sharpie highlighters that I use a lot for when I'm annotating, if I want to highlight something in my journal here or in other journals. I know they're always going to be here, so they don't necessarily get used for morning pages. But again, it kind of just makes me feel good, makes me feel a lot more secure that I know that I can find them here whenever it is that I need them. There's this other pen that I showcase in a other video about my pens. This Jetstream, kind of just like 1, 2, 3, kind of just like a 3 in one, that kind of just lives here. I have this, preppy green fountain pen here, and I have my Pilot Metropolitan. I moved it here, just so that I know it's always here. This is sort of like my morning pages pen, just because I enjoy the way that it writes. I love this pen. This is the first fountain pen that I ever got. I'm pretty confident of that, and I've had it ever since. It feels awesome. This is a medium nib if you are curious. I use other pens whenever they're nearby, but I try to just always not have to worry about my morning pages whenever I do need to kind of just get a thought down and write, to not try to scramble to find a pen. So that kind of just stays here. And this is kind of just like my tool system to make sure that pretty much have everything that I need. Different color pens, different color markers and highlighters. My fountain pen that's nice and trusty. And then I have my notebook right here. Sometimes I like to use these one piece Hobonichi, sort of like they're not post-it notes because there's no adhesive, but they're kind of just like memos, and they say like very different things, just a repetition of them. I like to journal with them, kind of just write my thoughts there, tape it on my morning pages or in my commonplace journal with my Paper Republic. We'll get to that in a minute. But I kind of just like to have these. They're kind of chunky, as you can see. They're kind of not really have another best place to have them. So again, I always know that they are going to be here. And then I have these other letterpress print cards from Hobonichi that I am saving. Not sure when I'm going to use them, but they look really awesome because they kind of just, they're shaped like Vivre cards. And I thought that was really cool. I have one, I'm using it as a sort of like a bookmark. Oh, here's my Hobonichi sticker. That's what I want. So I'm going to show you here. Is it kind of the same? Rayleigh's sort of like beaver cards to and from, to kind of just, if I'm shipping something to a friend, if I'm sending a letter or maybe a package to one of you guys in the future for any giveaways, you might receive one of these. So kind of just keep them here. I think I have another set of stickers. No, it's pretty much all I have here. They fit perfectly in there as well. There's no trouble closing it or opening it. I can just get straight into writing, into flow mode with my coffee. Just get to cranking and writing my ideas down. There is another pouch here, another sleeve where I can put some stickers, some other cards, maybe some, other letters or other cards that I have that I want to kind of just tape on there. Or if you're using like washi tapes or something like that, you can house them here. So it's pretty cool. It's a decent size. I just have some cards, some birthday cards, some, get well cards, better every year. I want to build a really good system where I'm just grabbing cards as I go, as I kind of feel that they fit my vibe and they fit the vibe of what it is that I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to send somebody a message, congratulate somebody. Um, I've been wanting to get into a habit of just picking them up. So whenever that occasion comes up, they're handy and they're here, safe. And like I said, it goes back to systems, knowing where everything's at and having everything ready that I need. If I want to write something in the morning, get it shipped out, they're all here. And I'm kind of just slowly accumulating them. There's also this nice little pen loop here. I never use it because all my pens are way too big, but like something like this might be cool. Again, I had a iPad mini here, so like maybe you can slide like an Apple Pencil there if that's what you're using it for. It does fit. Let me get it. If you have a Super Note, I made a video about the Super Note Nomad. I made two videos on this actually, so I'll kind of just leave them right here for you guys to go watch. But if you have a Super Note and you also have a notebook that you want to carry, this is perfect because it'll actually fit and house that. Have some pens here, so might be a little bit kind of just tight. It's definitely tight, at least for this. But let's say you don't have this journal and you have this super note and you kind of want to just house it here. Let's say you don't have this folio. You can kind of just keep it there. I'd be able to close here like that. Yeah, it closes without the folio. Have my morning pages, my sort of just like everyday journal. If I'm using the Nomad like that as kind of just like my one place to kind of house everything, and I just have like my morning pages for like that tactile feel, then I'll house it here. but I use the Nomad for just like a brain dump. This kind of just lives on my desk, and whenever I need to kind of just hold variety of different forms of documents or anything like that, then this kind of just goes with me. And I love this Lamy pen as well. Can't remember what the size exactly is for this. I just know it fits this, like, I think it's an A4 or an A5. I'm not super sure on the sizing. But I will put it somewhere over here for you guys to know what this is. I'll leave a link for all this stuff down below. None of these are affiliate links. They're just things that I bought with my own money. But if you're watching and you're Paper Republic or you're Bellroy and you want to sponsor me, I would love to. I have a lot of Bellroy products, but this is the one that's kind of just kept over the years. And I'm really happy that I found a really good system for this. Morning pages, for those who are not super familiar with this, you basically just wake up in the morning, whatever thoughts you have, whatever thing is happening at that moment. Once you're like getting your coffee, once you try and like decompress for whatever it is that you're going through in the morning, you're kind of just writing your thoughts down. And that's how I treat it. It's just a very raw, authentic, maybe sort of creative way to kind of just express myself in the morning, to kind of just get those thoughts out of my head, put them into the piece of paper, know that I have more bandwidth in my mind to be able to continue through the day. So that's how I go about my morning pages. And like I said, I'm trying to stay a little bit more consistent. I have like a date stamp that somewhere over there that I stole from Melissa actually. And it kind of just helps me remember when the gaps are in between the days that I journal. So this one's on the 17th. Add in morning page until the 19th afterwards. I don't have a date on this. And I didn't do any morning pages today. So I do have a lot of thoughts in my head, or maybe I woke up with no thoughts. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. So this is my system for morning pages. Let's move on to my most used journal, which is my Commonplace. So I've shown this journal a couple times already. If you haven't seen some of the other videos, I like to kind of just really talk about commonplacing and how it's been the most beneficial system for me to journal. And I mean, it's truly worked. It's a little bit of everything. My mind's a little bit all over the place, so I have a really good system where it's just writing at its like at the core of it is just writing. And then I can get a little bit more creative. I can add some more thoughts, some more things that I want to remember, some more notes, some more photos. So this is my Paper Public. This is the XL version in the green. I got this maybe 2 years ago. And this has just patinaed so well over time. I really, really don't mind all the scratches. I want to say I want more scratches, but I'm just not as careful as I was once I got it the first time. I got these two sort of charms. This is just like a master sword. If you don't know, I am a huge, huge Zelda nerd. So I have my Zelda charm that I got on Etsy. Again, I'll leave it down below. And then I got this Virgin Mary. I grew up Catholic. I grew up in Mexico. And this is what I got when I did my first communion back in Mexico. And my mom kept it over the years. I've she then gave it to me. I kept it in a little box, my jewelry box, where I have like a whole bunch of stuff from high school and things like that. It's like a memory of my childhood and of all the things and crazy stuff that I've done. And also my mom giving to me, and everything that my mom gives me, I hold dear to my heart. So I'm gonna keep it here for good luck. Um, Moving on to the other things that I got recently, obviously my pens. If you haven't seen my pen video and how we got the um, pilot vanishing point when we got it over in Chicago. I'll leave it somewhere over here for you guys to watch. I've been looking for this double pen clip for the longest freaking time. When I first started online, it was like 75 bucks. And I was not about to spend $75 on a double pen clip. And I thought for the longest time Travelers Company was the one making this pen clip, and it turns out it wasn't. So I was looking for it for the longest time. I found somebody that did something like this on Etsy. Again, I'll link it down below. And this has been freaking awesome. This is like perfect for what I need, especially because I'm annotating a lot of my books as of recently. So as I'm reading, I'm taking notes. And then I'm using this pure malt 4-in-1. That's a black, blue, green, and red, and a mechanical pencil with an eraser um, at the top that kind of just helps me annotate without having to bleed through the paper. So let's just get into it. Um, so I have my two pens. I have this divider from Paper Republic. That's kind of just like a paper wallet. So this kind of just sits in between, kind of just like a sandwich of my timeless monthly planner. I kind of just have stickers, some business cards that I've been accumulating when I'm doing like networking events and things like that. Again, if you didn't know a little bit about me, background wise, I run a video production company. I go to a lot of networking events because that's just how you get to understand and know a lot of people. And I love talking to people. So I get their business cards. I collect a lot of art whenever I can. My friend made this. He actually made a customized vinyl cover with references from my favorite songs at that time. And this is kind of just like his business card, but the vinyl cover is somewhere over there. Um, Maybe I'll insert a photo here for you to see. I got this from Kiosuk. Um, a lot of these prints that I have here are from him. So definitely check him out on Instagram. I believe that is his handle. Outside of that, I kind of just have these kind of just hanging here. I have more kind of just like random stuff. I have this Leonardo da Vinci magic card that I just think is so cool. And of course, it has a Mona Lisa Ultra Pro or Dragon Shield sleeve on it. So it's super awesome. I'm never getting rid of that. I got these from the New York Times or the New Yorker. It was as a subscription, and it came in the mail. And I thought these were awesome. There's four of them. Kind of just keep them. I'm not sure where I'm gonna use them. I got the sticker that I got from, or like this like little notepad that I got from one of my orders on Etsy. This is from when I went to Wallace Falls. I can't remember, but it was a national park sort of day pass, and I thought it was really cool. This was in Oregon, is where I got this. Got a picture of Melissa, little Polaroid, my good luck charm, probably the most precious thing on there, and then obviously another another card for my collection. I actually need to put that over there. I just really like this raccoon trash gathering illustration. I think it's so funny, and I love the like gold embossing here for the letters. I'm gonna use it one day, and it's gonna whenever I know it's gonna be right there. So that's everything that I kind of just has right there. Again, more business cards. I have this monthly planner, so I think I showed it in my last reel that I use my Hobonichi weeks as just like a weekly planner. Just taking it week by week. And this is sort of like my month overview of everything that I have. So from special events to shoots to birthdays to conventions, things that I need to get, special like appointments that I have, um, I kind of just keep this here as a top down view of everything so I can foresee what the next week kind of looks like and then plan accordingly to kind of transfer that over to my Hobonichi weeks as sort of like the weeks progress. I give myself deadlines to kind of finish books. I finished Babel, amazing. R. Fung is an amazing writer. And then there's a couple of things happening next month that I'm kind of just prepping for. TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Magic the Gathering sets releasing. So kind of want to just stay on top of that. I don't know if I'm going to get anything. Monster Hunter 3 Stories is releasing. I'm for sure getting that. Crimson Desert is releasing. Maybe getting that. And then the big thing, for me at least, for next month, Project Hail Mary is releasing. And I'm trying to finish the book before the movie comes out because I just bought tickets yesterday and it's gonna be amazing. I just know it's gonna be amazing. Um, I have a big convention that I'm going to call the Adepticon, which is just like a tabletop board game convention for Warhammer, but not limited to Warhammer, kind of just like skirmish games is what they call it. So um, I'm kind of just taking it month by month. I'll sort of like start filling things in as they come. I have other like big projects and big trips happening. So like in July, we are going to New York for Stationery Fest. So I definitely want to keep that kind of going, flying back or driving back, whatever. I have a big um, gravel race on the 25th of July. My birthday's on the 27th. So just a huge sort of week here. I have a couple events that I'm covering. Aside from just like commercial video production, I also still shoot and record weddings. So I have a couple of friends getting married, and I'm doing their wedding photography and wedding videography. So that's gonna be cool. And yeah, I kind of just keep that going. I really love this planner just because it's very thin. Like it's absolutely very thin. Um, it's super simple. I love that it's just the right size. I like this green. I like the way it feels. I like the way that it handles ink. Paper Republic, in my opinion, has some of the best feeling paper, and I do still think Midori is like way higher in terms of how it feels with my pens and my inks. But I have no problems and no complaints with Paper Republic paper. So these are all these inserts are all Paper Republic. So I have a couple stickers here, and this is my main journal. I am on the second refill on this, actually about to finish this, and going into a new one. And I feel very comfortable and very confident on what that's going to look like. So I kind of want to just give you a showcase of how it started, what my indexing kind of looks like. And it's almost done. So this is actually the perfect time to record this video because I'm about to start a new one. So before I figured out what commonplacing was, or that I wanted to do a commonplace journal as a whole, it kind of just started with notes. I have every time before I continue, every time you buy a Paper Republic refill or a journal or kind of just goods in general, they have this like handwritten letter that they add with everything. So whenever I get a new journal from them, I kind of just tape it to the very beginning and then kind of just continue, sort of them wishing me luck or kind of just use it like a good luck talisman or something like that. But I never want to throw those away, so that's what I have here. Okay, so back to the journal. So I started this as a front lobe journaling system. What does that mean? I'm not quite sure. I saw a video about it. It looked interesting. I thought it could maybe work with what I was going for to try to just get the juices flowing and get the ideas out into the paper. And it didn't quite happen to work how I wanted it to work. So you'll start to see how I'm transitioning over to what all this that I'm doing. So I have my goals, my accomplishments, affirmations, visual. What did I write here? Visualizations and future experiences, like visualizing my future, and then 4 prompts, questions to shape my focus. Do these every day for 3 months. That did not happen. So I kind of just start, journaling. I'm using some of these stickers here, um, and kind of just going through the motion of trying to make that happen. I have more entries here, and then it kind of just starts to like fall off until you can see like I just wrote the date and then I never came back to this. Then I started to think, well, maybe I'll treat it as a sort of like a system that's similar to my morning pages, where it's just a little bit of everything and it's not just limited to the morning. And I'll start to add some stickers and just stuff that I accumulate throughout the day. That also did not work. It worked a little bit. It did kind of inspire me to keep going. So you can see we had just come back from our trip to Mexico. This was, I think I started this in October 28th of last year is when I started this insert and when I started to kind of like try to journal like that. went to Mexico, had this trip, kind of just like receipts from what I had. If you don't know this yet, which is really cool, especially if you're into the journaling stuff, which I hope so. This video's almost 20 minutes already. Um, Whenever you're going on or getting on a plane, I like to do this as I'm boarding the plane because it's a little bit easier. Um, Ask the pilot for a pilot card for the plane that you're about to fly on. Most of the time, they have these. There's variations of different ones. These are the United ones. They're kind of like glossy and they have like silver embossing and it looks really cool. These are the same thing. This is the back, this is the front. They just give you one. I just happen to have two for this to and from. I have one from an Alaskan trip that is holographic, and I don't know where it went. And I'm actually curious now as to where it went. It's like orange, holographic, kind of looks like something you get out of a cereal box. They're really cool, and I really love just having that. I hate flying on a plane. I hate turbulence. It stresses me out. I'll still do it just because I still need to get from place to place. But when I do, I want to make sure I remember it. So I get these um, pilot cards, and they're really cool. And the most of the time they have it. I would say like 95% of the time they have it. So definitely ask for that. I started utilizing that printer that I was talking to you about. So you can see like the photos starting to kind of just add more stuff, more like holiday cards as they went. This is around Christmas time. And then this is when we get to the actual part that initiated my love for commonplacing. I can't remember where I saw it or where I heard about commonplacing in general. But I started going through like different layouts that people had, especially on Pinterest, and like other videos that I told Melissa to like send me videos of like commonplacing. So I knew I wanted to write in the past, like a lot of these entries are just all over the place, from video games to funny moments with these photos, coffee places that I'm drinking, going to bars, new foods, new shows, finishing like a new game, all of those things. And when I went back and looked at those entries from a top down view perspective, if that makes sense, I could never know what was what and where it was, if that also makes sense. Like if I'm trying to look for like an entry of like a video game that I'm playing, it's just all writing, which again, that's what I want to do on my morning pages because it's kind of, I don't really care about going and revisiting the morning pages. I just want to get it out of my head. If I remember it and I want to carry it and come back to it and revisit it, reread it, dissect that thought a little bit more, I'll put it here. Um, so this wasn't a good system for me how I was doing it to kind of go back and revisit what I was writing, which is something that I really like to do. So I found this, I implemented it, and I broke it down into the things that I wanted to journal about. So just daily journal entries, creative ideas, books and quotes or general quotes that I had. I talk about my hobbies a lot, so I wanted to reference that. Then miscellaneous notes on anything else that came to mind. And then I added travel. I ran out of these like traveler's journal, like color coded circles. So it's just blue. These are just the stickers. Like these are actual stickers. So I wanted something else to kind of just reference it. The cool thing about this, or at least having just like a handful of things, is that it's very modular. You can keep adding things as you go. With the stickers, depending on what stickers you're using, I think it'll probably be easier to use something like washi tape because you can take it on and off. Um, if you want to modify it, I'm not sure if you want to do that. It's up to you. But if I want to add maybe movies or maybe workouts from like cycling or rock climbing, I can add these here. And I can make different variations or different entries and color coordinate it accordingly, or have like a sticker if I have a lot of those things, to kind of just know and revisit that whenever I am writing and it's, journal entry related or a creative idea or a creative note, when I go down and try to find it, um, they have all been labeled. So it's easy for me to go back and find that entry. So that's what I did. I broke it down into margins. That's how I was sort of like labeling it. It's not cohesive at all. I tried to make that, but I kind of didn't want to box myself in to kind of just be a little bit creative. So I used a lot of stickers. I was labeling, this one's about books and quotes. So I know it's Red Rising related. So then I know that my quote is there. YouTube ideas, daily entries, games I want to play, TBR, things like that. I still continue to kind of just add pictures, reading trackers, books I want to read. Um, I take a lot of pictures, so I really want to add more pictures. So I talk about that printer that I use is in this video over here. I'll link it here for you guys. Kind of just talk about a variety of different things, journal entries, but it's like blue and green, so I'm talking about my hobbies, orange and blue, kind of just like New Year's. So this is really cool to kind of just go back and like revisit all the things and having them labeled. Is definitely super, super easy. So that's how I kind of continue to kind of just do it over the years, or not over the years, over the last couple months since I started doing that, which was, so this is on the 23rd, a day before Christmas. I celebrate Christmas on the 24th. So since a day before Christmas, Christmas Eve for me, I started to do the commonplacing, which again has been the most fun way that I could journal to bring my visuals to life. So, which is also really cool to see, at least for me, is how I evolved it through starting. So I started with these margins. I continued the trend of like trying to decode like what it is that I was writing about. And it also helps me in the long run to know how often am I talking about my hobbies? How often am I doing journal entries? Am I talking a lot about creative projects? Am I doing the opposite? Am I not talking enough about creative projects? So it allows me to kind of see where my mind goes, see the patterns, and if I want to incorporate more book quotes or talk about more creative things that I'm doing or wanting to do, and I really want to see that in my journal, then I can kind of just take a step back, see what I'm writing about or what I'm not writing about, and kind of just take action that way. So I think it's really insightful for me once I figure that out. Um, that really opened a lot of ways for me to journal about different types of things and things that I wasn't journaling about, to kind of put them on the page. So hopefully, if you take anything from this video, I hope you take that. So that's how I kind of go about it. Um, and you can see the evolution of my note taking, my one piece spread, um, some like more journaling and so forth and so forth. Um, I started adding washi tape, which it's fun for me to use. Some more pictures. I got like different types of stickers, different types of photos that I'm using. So that's what I'm doing over and over again. If I'm going places or I'm picking stickers or like receipts from really cool spots. So like from Chicago, I got the paper and pencil stationery like partner shop stamp. So I put it here. I have this like little things. I take ideas from Melissa as well. So it's fun to see where the inspiration kind of comes from. So that's what I started to do. That's how I keep this going. And it feels super fun. Um, Again, I start to see the evolution of my style of journaling. I added this, you can kind of see it right here. I got this um, typewriter, and this thing has been freaking awesome. I've been looking for a typewriter for the longest. So, adding some notes on like a separate piece of paper, burning the edges a little bit, it actually catches on fire. So, like, be very careful with where you're burning it because fire, like ashes will start fall from the paper, and it stinks the room up. So probably not the smartest idea, but I need some water. It's not related to journaling at all, but limoncello LaCroix. This thing has to be made out of crack because I'm so addicted to these things and it tastes so good. Okay, so going back to this, I can't write on the physical paper just because it has to like go through the thing. So I write on a separate piece of paper. Um, I want to get like distress ink to kind of just make it look a little bit more vintage. This totally works for me, and it makes it really look really cool. It gives it a lot of texture. So then I kind of just kept that going. Like I bought some stuff from Atlas. I keep doing like the sticker thing. Got some more washi tape. We went to like a Mitski um listening party last Saturday, and I got some photos. I'm playing on my 3DS again. Um, I may or may have not hacked it so I can get every single game. I'm just continuing to kind of just stick to the process and get a little bit more creative on the types of doodles or drawings that I'm adding onto things. I'm starting to kind of just get into sketching a little bit more. So you can see here, I did like this sketch from this photo of this frame that I saw at paper and pencil. So kind of just adding things like that. See how I'm like do it adding. I might have a stroke. See how I'm adding headings to pages. Um, what sort of like cool illustrations I'm doing. I just got some candles from a friend that he hand makes and they're organic. And I'll leave that link down below as well. They smell amazing. They're made out of 100% beeswax. Um, and you guys have to smell them. Like they're amazing. Continuing to kind of just write. I like this washi tape, add different things. This is something that I definitely want to keep going. Um, for the next insert, it's gonna be another one of these like Paper Republic inserts. I want to add more designs to my papers. Um, Again, I don't want to be limited to just writing and pictures. I realized, and it kind of just clicked, just like maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, when I made this page, that I can make this however I want. Um, and that's the freest thing that I could realize is that I really like these designs and kind of just making it look really nice. Aside from like the writing and like the templating and headlining and things like that. Um, but I can make it design it however I want. So I'm kind of going into this now, or I will be going into this for the next journal entry. And again, this video is super long, so if you're still watching, like you rock. Um, But going into the next one, I kind of want to treat it kind of like like designing like a UX website. I don't design websites at all. I am familiar with UX design, so it's just like the front facing, like the creative and making it everything look super nice. So I kind of want to treat it like that. That is my commonplace journal, and the rest of the video is kind of just gonna go really fast, just because the other two, well, two, but really one, are super simple. So outside of my commonplace, I have just like my doesn't really matter. I'll write whatever comes to mind and then I'll transfer it to wherever it needs to go journal, which is my pocket journal. Again, from Paper Republic. This is still the Voyager. It's just the pocket size. This was the very first journal I got. I got this Hollow Knight charm. Again, I got it on Etsy. And I got these earrings from Melissa that she's not using, and I just added on here um, because it's cool. I have I have a Traveler's Journal pen club. I have the same paper wallet insert. That's my cat. You might have seen him. His name's Yuki. This is kind of just here for whatever. It's blank right now. I had like list of like grocery things. It's really just here to just write whatever, actually. There's really no system to this. I have some foreign cash. I'm not sure. This chopstick is a chopstick thing. It kind of just stays there. I have this little pocket. I think it's from a traveler's journal, like pocket size, passport size that Melissa gave me that she wasn't using. So sometimes I'll put business cards. Sometimes I'll use it as my wallet. I'll flip flop back and forth just 'cause sometimes I'll forget that I'm using this as a wallet, and I'll take my wallet and there's no cards in my wallet. Um, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life right there. I have again more business cards. I have my Costco card, library card. I have this card from this deli that sells subs. Every time I get a sub, I get a mark. I get some stickers from the Seattle Kraken, I think, the hockey team. I have just like random stuff there. I have this that I use more sort of like as my junk journal as I'm going. Or at least that's what it was intended for. I have some receipts here from when I went to Toronto with a friend. I have some more stickers from the first time I went to Mexico, or like the first time I visited this region of Mexico, which is Guanajuato. Um, Kind of just kept it there before I was like junk journaling. Again, this is my first journal ever that I got. So a lot of these writings and inserts are like 2 to 3 years old, which is really cool to see. And I'm glad that I kept this going. I have some drawings for kind of just a little bit of everything. Some notes, some sketches, again, more Mexico stuff. This is like the most recent time that we went. Some stickers from a vinyl, and then when we went to go see Joy Hishashi, I think I pronounced that right, in concert in Ohio. So I'm kind of just keeping this as a everything journal. I have some more tickets, some more stamps here, a little bit of everything. And then this kind of is just another dotted insert that kind of just holds random notes, random sketches. Again, no system, just writing thoughts down in hopes of transferring them over. I'm writing ideas, little fun facts. I was watching this YouTube channel about a guy breaking down the Zelda intro music for Ocarina of Time, and I thought it was interesting. So if you didn't know, Ocarina of Time intro is on F major 7 chord in a C major triad scale, if that makes sense. So that's how I use this. And I know I mentioned 3, but there's really 4. I just don't have the 4th one. It gets here tomorrow, and I'm sorry. But it is going to be a traveler's journal. I got the blue one, I believe. I know I mentioned that I had quotes going in here, but sometimes I don't want to carry this with me. Hear me out. I really love this journal, and having the pens here, and it's a little bit bigger than usual than all my other journal. It's not huge, it's bigger, so it takes more space, and sometimes I don't want to carry a huge thing. But I do carry my books with me everywhere, and I like to read anywhere, and I'll do my audiobook, I'll do the whole thing, the whole shebang. I want to carry these 2 pens. I don't want to carry the pens in my pocket. So, hear me out. I know, hear me out. Since I'm finishing this insert for books, book quotes, there's a lot of quotes here that I made. I said, let me grab the quotes from here in my notes about the books and isolate them into their own specific journal. So that's what I did. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reinsert the new journal. I'm going to keep the same system for my commonplace, maybe add a little bit more things now that I have a little bit more space because I'm not going to be doing the book stuff. I'm going to take these pens. Maybe not this one. I'm definitely taking this one, but I need 2. I need one that's for annotating and then one that I'm going to use for taking notes. So maybe it's going to be this Lamy Vista. But this is going to be just my book breakdowns, my book quotes, my book summaries. This is going to be where all my books, thoughts, and everything lives, and it's going to live in this journal. So I don't have the physical journal. It gets here tomorrow. Blue Travelers. but I do have the inserts. So I have this little pouch for tabs, for like my quotes and stuff like that that I'm going to be using for annotating. I might have more business cards like my Costco card, since this is gonna go everywhere with me, book related. So is this. So this is like a smaller profile that'll fit in my sling or my bag. So I have this little wax canvas thing. It has a little pocket here for bookmarks maybe, or other stuff. I'm not sure what I'm gonna use this for, but I'm glad that it's there. Um, it has this notebook, which is just like a traveler's journal insert. This is the white paper version, I believe. I think it'll be fine for what I'm gonna use it for. I do have a layout in my head for all of this. I have two of them actually. So one for maybe just quotes, and the other one for like summaries. So I'm gonna try to break it down that way. I also have this. I think you might have seen this in my other videos that used to live here. It makes sense now for me to. I took it off because it's a weird sort of like layout because it's like short and long for the travelers. But I'm gonna just add it to my travelers again. Just has more some like Magic the Gathering cards that I'm not using. That I really like the art for. I could use them for dividers. Book separators, page separators, whatever it is, book notes, and then obviously my sticker release. I don't have to carry it like loose leaf kind of just on its own or have to shove it in my commonplace. I'm just gonna put it in my book thing, because I might use some of these stickers for some of the books that I'm gonna be reading. So I'll collect all my notes and all my ideas here. I'll collect all my quotes and summaries for my books here. And then I'm going to then transfer it over. Probably just gonna leave this home. I'll take it whenever I need to take it, but I'll continue to grow my commonplace and then obviously my morning pages. So those have been my journals. I know it was a long video. I had to go and edit this now, but hopefully it was beneficial. Usually journal videos like these, the longer ones, um, are what people are looking to watch. Hopefully this is something that you enjoyed, and if you did, let me know in the comments down below. I want to have more conversations. I love when you guys leave comments. Make sure to sub and like and do all those things. But if you're gonna do anything, a comment is really cool because I get to talk to you guys about your journals and your systems. And if this was helpful and useful, and you got a lot of insight and maybe some new ideas for your journals, let me know in the comments down below. So those are all my four now journals that I use on a daily basis. And yeah, it was awesome getting to make this. I'm glad I finally got to make this for you guys. Just going more in depth into my journals, and it makes me feel a lot more comfortable now talking about these stuff because I have a really good system for it. So as I continue to grow and change it and do all those things, I'll update the videos. I'll make another one. If you have specific questions or you want a specific video about something in particular, and if I can make it and I think it makes sense, I'll make that for you. But that's where the collaboration in the comments kind of works out. So I'll let you go. Also, if you leave with something, just know that the limoncello is the best thing that you could get LaCroix flavor wise. So go journal, go drink some LaCroix, and I'll talk to you guys later.